We have all heard recently about the tragic incident involving the submarine Titan, which on a trip to explore the wreckage of the Titanic. The main reason for the accident was that the pressure of the water at such depths is extremely high, and unfortunately, the body of the submarine was unable to withstand this immense pressure, leading to its implosion. However, in light of this catastrophe, the question arises, isn't the ocean floor inhabited by normal fish and marine creatures? So how come a diver made of metal cannot withstand the conditions that small fish can live in? Hello, I am Davis, but before we start, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive our videos. The problem with any object under water pressure is not dependent on the material it is made of, but rather on the amount of air or gas inside the object. The more air inside the object, the more it will be affected by the water pressure. This means that if anyone who is a diving enthusiast tries to dive into the sea and go deeper, they will notice that as they descend, they will start to feel pain in their ears, sinuses, and lungs. This is because each of these organs contains a certain amount of air, and in this situation, the air pressure inside them is much lower than the air pressure in the water surrounding them. For every 10 meters deeper you go, the water pressure increases by 1 atmospheric pressure unit. For example, if someone were to dive to a depth of 500 meters, the water pressure exerted on their body would be the same as that of a polar bear standing on a small metal coin. And we're talking about not very deep depths here. Imagine if we went a kilometer or 2 below the sea surface. In this case, the body could literally explode due to the immense force generated by the water pressure trying to penetrate the body. By the way, if we assume that someone went to this depth with an oxygen tank, there could still be problems because both the person and the oxygen tank could explode due to the immense water pressure at greater depths. The water pressure at great depths is an enormous force that cannot be underestimated, and that's why the Titan diver exploded. This is the problem faced by all divers and submarines in general. That's why submarine manufacturers are always working on how to prevent water pressure from breaching the outer hull of the submarine. The fact that there are fish and marine creatures living in the ocean does not mean that all of them are capable of descending to the ocean floor. Some fish are affected by the pressure, and this is because a large percentage of fish, especially bony fish, have something called a swim bladder in their bodies. This is a sac made up of 2 chambers that helps the fish to rise or sink. When the fish wants to float to the surface, the bladder inflates, and when it wants to sink, it deflates. Therefore, these types of fish tend to stick to a certain area in the ocean and not descend any further, as the bladder could burst due to the extreme water pressure at the ocean floor. Additionally, when fish descend to the ocean floor, the high water pressure can cause the protein molecules in their bodies to break down, leading to physiological problems that could result in the death of the fish. Basically, the fish that you might see at the bottom of the ocean are of 2 types. The first type is fish that do not have a swim bladder, such as the hagfish and the snailfish. These fish are found in the Mariana Trench, which is considered to be the deepest point on Earth, with depths ranging from 7,000 to 8,000 meters below sea level. The second type of marine creatures that can be found in these extreme depths, which is quite strange, is cetaceans, such as the sperm whale, the beaked whale, and some other types of whales. It's worth noting that cetaceans are mammals with lungs, ears, and nasal cavities, meaning that their bodies are filled with air, not water, and this is quite different from what we have discussed so far. When whales dive into the deep regions of the ocean, they release all the air from their lungs by contracting and emptying them. Then, the whale uses hemoglobin to store oxygen in its body, meaning that it doesn't need to breathe from its lungs for a long time. Additionally, the veins in the whale's nose and ear cavity expand and grow in size to occupy any air cavities in its body before diving. This allows the whale to get rid of any air pockets in its body before diving, enabling some whales and cetaceans to reach depths of up to 3,000 meters below sea level, which is the depth of the Titanic wreckage in some parts of the Mariana Trench. However, whales and cetaceans cannot go beyond these depths, but on the other hand, there are fish such as the Mariana snailfish that can surpass these depths. The pressure in some parts of the Mariana Trench can reach up to 1,080 bars, as an example. Imagine someone holding 100 adult African elephants on their head. It would be crazy. But when scientists examined the anatomy of the Mariana snailfish, they noticed gaps in its skull that allow it to balance the internal and external pressure. Additionally, the fish's body is filled with water, not air, which is not compressible. Furthermore, the fish does not have bones, but rather cartilage, which makes its body more flexible and able to withstand greater pressure. Scientists also discovered a compound called trimethylamine oxide, TMAO, in the fish, which is responsible for its infamous odor. However, the primary function of TMAO is to protect and stabilize the proteins in the fish's body, which prevents them from breaking down under extreme pressure. The Mariana snailfish has 5 copies of the TMAO gene, which protects its proteins even better and allows its body's biological processes to function normally. Despite its amazing abilities, the fish is only about 28 centimeters long and weighs 160 grams, which is about the size of a hand. Its body can withstand extreme conditions and pressure that even metal submarines cannot handle. So, that's the end of our journey. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us anytime.